So, this is a major stimulus bill for New York State. At this moment in time, the number of projects that are being canceled and terminated because of inadequate financing is creating a major, or adding enormously to all the other problems that this financial crisis has imposed on everybody, but more acutely in New York than anywhere else. And this will put $30 to $35 billion in this economy. I think it will create somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 to $15 billion in wages at a time when there is nothing more critical for the people of the state. So perhaps one didn't need more than one good reason to do something, but this is an equally compelling reason at this point in time. The Commission, I'm probably talking too long about it, forgive me, but the Commission has also made some recommendations with respect to governance of the MTA, with respect to increasing transparency of what they do and how they do it, so that both the public and the legislature and the city of New York are fully aware of the decisions and the reasons for them, and the public has a fair understanding of the way things are being operated. I think that kind of summarizes the high points. I'd just like to say in conclusion that this all fits together. This is not a series of separable recommendations. This is an effort to spread the burden amongst the largest group that one possibly can. And that a recognition that, as I said in the beginning, and I want to reiterate, that the fare payer is going to have to pay their fair share. And we have recommended that in the future, that the MTA board have the right to raise the fare no more than once every 2 years at the rate of inflation for that period of time, without public hearing. If they seek higher increases than that, they would have to go through the current public hearing process. This does not mean the public wouldn't have access to it, because the MTA board meetings are public. But I want to make clear that from my experience 30 years ago and all my successes and experience, the political circus that surrounds the fare increase process and the inordinate and unhealthy pressure it puts on all the good people who run for political office produces distorted results. And we deferred fare increases in 2004 and 2007, and we're paying the price for that today. That is a contributing factor to the depth and gravity of the fiscal crisis that the MTA follows today. And we have to avoid this. We think the MTA should have the best talent that's available in this society, and we think it should have stability in terms of its financing and predictability in terms of its fare revenues. Governor, thank you.
Obviously, it's clear from the chairman's presentation how important the functioning of our mass transit system has to be in this particular region. Now, Mayor Bloomberg, who's a very popular mayor, could have stepped aside and just gone to another endeavor during a fiscal crisis, but he wants to stay here with us, and Mayor Bloomberg could have waited and just let this report come out and commented on it as an observer, but as usual, he is here with us and was part of the conversation, and we thank him for that. We're going to hear from him in just a second. But I want to point out that in order to conduct the business of this commission, there had to be apt consultation with business, with labor, with real estate, and with government. The commission met 7 times. It had 3 public hearings. Its report will be dated December 5th. And I was briefed by the chairman, Mr. Ravitch, and will ask my council to draft legislation that would be appropriate to try to implement the findings in this report. Obviously, this is open to negotiation. We're going to need both houses of the legislature to cooperate with us. But I must reiterate to everybody here, these are tough times. Difficult choices are going to have to be made by legislators, executives, and even by the riders and the drivers in the greater metropolitan area with respect to the MTA. The disincentivizing of the MTA, the reduction of expenditures in the 60s and the 70s created a problem for us back at that time. The ridership fell off by 17%, and the population in the region fell off by 5%. We don't want to repeat that error. And raising a fare of 23% and having serious service reductions is going right back where we would have gone years ago and would create a dead economy through our MTA. Obviously, the MTA's trains, and buses, and tunnels and bridges are the lifeblood of this region. It is the economic engine of our economy. And the best way for us to survive economically is to make sure that those elements that drive our finances actually survive. The current MTA capital plan has driven $29 billion in economic development in the area and $12 billion in wages. And so this gives you an idea of the enormity of this consequence. And so we're going to have to work together, we will talk to the legislative leaders, we're going to have to come up with a plan. Obviously, these are tough choices, these are tough times. Had this been last year, you may have seen a completely different type of report. Please remember that the projected budget for this state has actually is now almost 2.5 times the size that it was that we believed it would be in April, and that has limited our ability to come in and be of assistance here. But we do think that with a holistic plan, as the chairman is discussing, one that actually asks all the stakeholders to participate in the continuing operation of these facilities at the MTA will actually be the answer. One of the country's leading experts on infrastructure and what would really be the stimulus of our economy as it's downgraded right now is Mayor Bloomberg, and I want to invite him to come to the microphone right now.
Governor, thank you for pointing out that I could have been elsewhere. I could have, for example, gone to a Giants game. Probably safer here at the moment. Anyways, thank you for appointing me, and I just wanted to personally say thank you for addressing this issue and proactively doing something. And I don't think you could have put a study together and put a study in more capable hands than Dick Ravitch. I've known Dick for many years. We used to be neighbors till he moved out of my neighborhood. And this is a guy who does understand the city, he understands the MTA, he understands the political process. He's got all of the pieces